I'm getting like really hyped so far. Like when first off, like major spoiler alert for all of these. I'll try and remember to put this part at the beginning, but major spoiler alert, talking about all these movies. Yeah. So I will be doing, actually first, welcome to the video. Drop a comment, subscribe, like the video, watch the whole thing. As I'm sure from the title of the video, you know that this is gonna be a new segment on Mondays called Movie Mondays, where I talk about, I'll watch like 2 movies over the weekend. Like what I'm doing right now, I'll watch it and I'll just give my opinion on like what I took from the movie and what I'm like, just movie reviewing, you know? Like I love movies, I've always loved movies. Like I know like lines to so many movies, and like it also gets like too crazy sometimes to where I can't even remember where that movie's from. But then like if someone else says something, it takes a minute, but then I get it so fast and I name it. That's what today's video is gonna be. I always love movies. It's funny because like movies that are reviewed and that are like, oh, this movie's kind of bad, or like I usually end up like I don't really like trust those. It really just depends on what you think about the movie. I'll read about like the reviews, but like, or no, not the reviews. I'll read about the goal and like the plan that they had for the movie, and I'll take that into consideration. I'll be like, okay, I'll go in with this mindset because this is what they're thinking. Like, because if you go into a superhero movie expecting a chick flick, you're gonna be disappointed. Vice versa too. I don't really like go into a movie blank because then I don't really feel anything about the movie. It's just kind of in me to just kind of put myself into the person of what the movie's about, pretty much. Even like the people around him or her, but maybe that's like the empath in me, or I don't know what the word for that is, but yeah, that's really how I am. I think that's it so far, unless I think about something else to say. Let's get to it. The movie that I have going for us today is Whiplash. It's a 2014 drama indie movie directed by Damien Chazelle with J.K. Simmons and Miles Teller. All right, so I'm like 23 minutes into the movie, and just the intensity, and actually I'll get to that. I don't know, I'm a cinephile, I think. Like I love movies, so I think I'm well versed enough to be able to recognize like the artistry of a movie. So like the way this whole movie is going so far, barely like 23 minutes in, it's like, it is insane. The camera work, the cinematography of it all, and how it's all being set up like shot to shot. Seeing every detail already 23 minutes in, filming must have been like insane. This is the first time seeing this movie, so like kind of just came out of nowhere too. I had 2 other movies planned for this first video, but something just popped into my head to just be like, okay, I'm gonna watch this movie. Yeah, when he went up to talk to the girl, like they already established her like kind of barely when he went to go to the movies. Obviously he stood there to like look at her and like, damn, I should have asked her. But I like that. I like the setup. Plus so far it's familiar faces. Like that girl is Melissa Benoist. She was Supergirl, and she's in other stuff too. Yeah, I got so hyped when he asked her, and it was so funny when she was like,
"Please go away."
Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
Like that was good. That was so good. Yeah, so far so good. The intensity so far, like just 23 minutes into the movie, and it feels this intense. I'm literally at the edge of my seat, like, oh. And then he finds out like where he's singling out the out of tune person.
It's okay. Do you think you're out of tune?
Yes. Then why the fuck didn't you say so?
Person who is not the attitude person. I was gonna say, like, if I were a conductor like that, as good as him, like, and someone doesn't know they're out of tune, then I guess that's justified, but I don't know. And then he calls that dude out to who was out of tune, but I don't know. It's so like, I feel like that's kind of like, I don't know the flow of the movie. I don't know the goal. I don't know the point of that part of the scene, but like, if that dude didn't know he was out of tune and he was scared to admit it, shouldn't he get kicked out too? So, I don't know why he took it easy on him. Again, 23 minutes into the movie, I don't know yet. So, yeah, back to it. All right, nothing like majorly has happened besides like J.K. Simmons' character, his like past student died, I guess. So, and then the breakup between the girl Melissa Benoist and Miles Teller's character. I don't know why. Like, I've seen that scene before, but I just didn't like it. I just didn't think anything of it. Like, I'll see like spoilers for movies, and then I'll just like I can recognize where it's from, but then in the moment when I'm watching the movie, everything about it just goes out the window. I don't know why, but it does. I think it's for the best, so that like I get into the movie and I'm not thinking about the spoiler or like the scene that I've seen before. So I'm like, how they established the movie within the first 23 minutes kind of like made me feel like everything that's happening from the 23-minute mark to about an hour is just more of the same, which is obviously like the style of the movie. I'm not bored, but I'm used to everything already. Like, everything that's happening is just adding to the characters, not development, but just characteristics and how they are. I'm not so surprised anymore. Like, I'm kind of expecting everything, but then I'm also expecting nothing. I'm expecting the worst, but it's almost like when I'm doing that, nothing's really going on, but then again, when you least expect it, it's like, oh shit. But yeah, nothing crazy so far. It's just all consistent within the characters, all consistent within the style of the movie, the cinematography, all that. The way it's like the close-up shots and stuff, it's all here and there. I'm liking it so far. Okay, literally 10, not even 20 minutes after what I just talked about, they're going to the Dan Nealon or something, like the competition. What a crazy scene. Like, I was just like, holy shit. Dude literally got into a car accident.
Why don't you just tell Fletcher that I'm coming, you motherfucker?
He got into a car accident and like literally gasped. Like, once I saw that, I was like, no. There's no way. And then he just continues going. He just gets there like 3, 4, 5 minutes late. But like, and I've seen that part too, where he's like,
Back off, bro. Fuck off, Johnny Utah. Turn my pages, bitch.
That's so good. That's so good. And then he gets cut anyways. Like, I the whole time I wanted him to be like, I was just in a car accident. You can't help but think like, would J.K. Simmons' character have accepted that? As intense as the whole movie's going so far, like, you think, maybe, no. And then he attacks him, like, literally tackles him, and like, obviously still fresh from the car accident. And what an intense scene. Again, was not expecting that turn of events. That's the movie. Right now they're talking about I think like suing or like asking for that Fletcher's dismissal or something from almost like trying to get him to rat or like turn on him. I don't know. Yeah, right now he's just like staring at the paper. I just wanted to get this in before like the whole tone shifts, and I'm still fresh from that thing. So yeah, because it feels like it's about to be kind of sad, but I don't know. I literally just saw the scene where he like is looking at the paper. So also, I don't think I talked about that breakup scene. That was such a interesting turn of events, because we didn't get to see much of her a lot anyways. So we kind of felt that scene a little bit. I don't know. Just like throw this in, throw it out. It did still add something major to, I guess, the flow or like an insight to the character of Miles Teller. So we'll see. And with the dinner scene, that whole part, it definitely felt very passive aggressive, of course, with him like having to be like with a family like that just kind of doesn't even know. I'm thinking about everything, like with the times, how everything was at the time, like in the setting in the movie, what everything was, what was going on. Like, oh, maybe it's just something that no one was talking about or just wasn't a thing at the time, but like, especially in the area, you never know. That could be anywhere, within anything, like within any movie, within any scene. Having to deal with like a family like that doesn't understand, or maybe doesn't even want to understand, support you either way. Like, oh yeah, I don't know what's going on, but I'll still support you. Like, I don't understand, but I'll be there for you. I'll help you. To not have that, and for them to not even try to understand or like ask questions about it or like major things. Like, sure, he's not Like he explains, it's not gonna, it's furthering my career for sure. I'm not getting paid. It's something that he's passionate about. I think anyone can identify with that for sure. Finding something that you love to do, or like something that, I talked about this, I made a post about this a little bit ago, but like finding something that brings out a creative in you. I just saw another video too that I was sent where don't wait for passion to find you. Don't wait for it to find you, because like you never know, 1 or 2 years down the road, you'll be passionate about it then. And maybe at the time, it might have just been something that you liked. How do you know you're passionate about something unless you just try something and like, oh, well, that doesn't really work out for me, so maybe I'll just try something else. Maybe I'll come back to this later. Maybe I'll do this, or like, I know for a fact, like one thing or another, everything comes back around in some type of way, in the most interesting way possible. This is what I'm getting into when I say like, yeah, this is what I'm taking from the movie. This is what I end up thinking about. I have a lot of existential crises. Maybe not crises, but just moments where I'm thinking literally like my place in life, everything that's going on. Like I think about everything that has happened until like this point, everything within the past month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, year, like it just all comes down to like this major moment. This is like a weekly, daily thing for me sometimes where like, okay, everything comes down to this, but then I just have to recognize a point to where I'm like, okay, I'm tripping. It's not as crazy as it seems. It's not as simple as it seems, and it's not as hard as it seems. So again, that dinner scene, just with them, like him calling them out for like, oh, like, are you a model UN, or do you do this, or like, oh, it's Division 3. The same thing could be said with like them, or him doing that to them. It just solidifies the fact that they're not in support of him, because no one's like, oh, no one's defending him at all. Not even his dad. Like his dad was kind of salty in the scene before too, where he's like you care about this guy's opinion? Like, that's what I mean when I say passive aggressive. Like, it's just so weird. Like, you could be on anyone's side, but then you're kind of like not forced, but just still for this Miles Teller's character. But other than that, I don't think nothing major jumped out at me. So unless I would talk about it, I gotta mention like the scene where he switches Miles Teller's character to a core member. He switches out his dude that was there before, who can't remember the notes and stuff. So, and then the next scene where he's like alternating the 3 drummers. I hope I'm not missing anything. Like if someone sees this who loves the movie, hopefully I'm hitting everything that they're talking about, or like I'm saying what, like, I don't know. This is just me. This is my take. This is what I'm thinking about. But maybe some things hit for other people that's not hitting for me. Whatever. But yeah, that scene where he's alternating them, and like that's so that was insane. I feel like this movie's also bringing out because I used to be in orchestra and choir. I feel like it's bringing out that part of me again, and I feel like in the most lighthearted way. I think I have good tune and stuff, or not tune, but like rhythms. I can't dance, kind of. Depends on the music. Sometimes it just like it just comes out, but like I can definitely like okay, like so. I'm recognizing like little parts. Oh, like the part where he's like, okay, who's out of tune? I talked about it a little bit earlier. Not as much as I'm about to talk about it, but like the camera work when they're trying to figure out who is out of tune, like, and it's only focusing on J.K. Simmons' character. It's almost like, okay, this is a shift to his point of view. You can't see who's out of tune, but you can definitely hear it, which is something to be said again with the cinematography and how they're moving the camera, like how it's just focused on him, and then the orchestra, the band is like to the right, out of the shot, and then he picks people to play. And he's like, nope, yep, it's right here. That scene was intense. That was so intense, because I've definitely like when I was in orchestra and stuff, it wasn't that intense at all. It was definitely, okay, someone's out of tune here, play. All right, so out of tune, let's fix it. Yeah, that scene was traumatizing. Anyways. I'm at the hour mark, but yeah, I have about like 43 minutes left, so we'll see what happens there. So I just got past like the whole, basically I'm calling like an intermission, like a calm point to where he has his apartment or something now. I guess just what he's been doing in a certain amount of time, I don't know. And then he sees J.K. Simmons' character in the jazz place. Yeah, that was like a pretty intense scene there, 'cause like with the whole, having seen the whole movie, you don't know what's gonna happen, but I feel like, yeah, I definitely knew from the beginning what J.K. Simmons Fletcher's character was doing. Like he talked about the next so-and-so wouldn't get discouraged. Someone like that like can take it. If you get discouraged, that means that if you get discouraged and you switch to something else, that thing wasn't your thing. It wasn't for you. Which is like what I was saying like just earlier. Crazy enough that like you try something else, it doesn't work, do the next thing. Do the next thing you're interested in, or even not even interested in, but just the next thing that is just something that, okay, I'll do that. I'll try and do this or whatever the heck works. Yeah, that whole talk, I was definitely like, that makes sense. Everything that they're talking about, there's just this kind of tiptoe around the whole thing. And I feel like J.K. Simmons' character doesn't know. He knows for sure that maybe Miles Teller's character told, but obviously he doesn't know how. And then if he does know, having like, I guess the humility to ask him like, hey, I'm in this thing next week. My drummer's not cutting it. You want to give it a shot? That's a whole nother thing. Not a whole nother thing, but yeah, during that whole point, I was waiting for her to be like, have that whole interaction. Like, I just thought she was gonna be like, oh, I'm kidding, or just, I don't know. I'm about to go start it again. He just walked up to like that building. It's like 20 minutes left or so. I don't know. Bro, the holiest of shits, the fuckest of fucks, the mother of fuckers. What a total, like, again, stayed with the style of a total mood switch from what I just last talked about. Him walking up to the building and then I literally said, oh, I know he knows, but to have that humility, there was no humility. He knew he had the humility to humiliate him. Oh my gosh, that's insane. That, again, totally fits with the character. What a fucking mind game this was. Like, he walks up to him and he's like, you think I'm fucking stupid? I know it was you. Bro, I was like, yo, what's about to happen? And then obviously he plays a song that like he doesn't have. Obviously he's humiliated. And then he leaves. But then he comes back. And honestly, like, what a comeback. But like, is there a better comeback than that?
Seabiscuit, The Mighty Ducks,
Robert Downey Jr., who
Rocky.
else? Yes.
Kim Kardashian.
Well,
In the video, she gets cum on her back, I think.
At least within like the sense of the movie. And then like it goes from like, yeah, he gets him back, and then now they're in sync after that. That whole scene of just the drums getting him going, I was like, yo, this is crazy. I honestly can't think of anything else to say about that. Other than like, you'd have to watch it to like, just like, this is something you have to like feel. I can't really explain it. That scene of just, he comes back, he starts drumming, he tries, like, J.K. Simmons tries to get in Miles Teller's face, and then he hits are those called cymbals? I gotta see, I don't know. But just the round thing on the drum, he hits it and then it hits him in the face, right? I don't know, but so good. 10 out of 10. I wonder if I should like think of like a personal rating system. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if I get there. We're just feeling this out, feeling out this kind of segment that I'm doing, thinking about maybe, we'll see how this goes. I want to do 2 movies in one video. Maybe I'll do that right now. I'll get started on one right now and just see how it goes. But I have never seen this movie before, so yeah, never seen this movie before. So honestly, what a strong start out, and I hope I did it justice for people who love the movie and who've seen the movie too. I'll throw another one on right now. I feel like that's all I've talked about. I don't want to keep going and like keep talking about the same stuff. So yeah, let's see what I pick next. All right, so I did have a movie picked, but now at the last minute, pure me style, I'm switching it up. Honestly, only because I saw a post on my Instagram. I was uploading just a post for my story, which, by the way, go follow my Instagram at Ishmael Cook was taken. Go follow my Instagram at Ishmael Cook was taken. Some people don't understand why that's my like name. Like I've been asked before. It's because the handle Ishmael Cook was taken. So yeah, like I tried to use Ishmael Cook, but it was taken. So I had to, and I was like, oh, that's funny. Oh man, Ishmael Cook was taken. Which is like a total, I don't know, off topic, but for today's movie, man, I'm kind of glad I got that I'm taking this as a sign to do this movie. because I did have it planned at first, like this one and then another one. Then I was gonna switch it up, and then I watched Whiplash, and then now, as I'm doing whatever, I see that post, so I'm like, it's a sign. It's a sign. It's a sign to do this. I'm gonna do it. 3 hours long. For today's second movie of Movie Monday, I will be watching. I've seen it before many times. This is honestly I saw it when I was young, and all I remember is like the beginning of the movie. Spoiler alert again. I always like felt a calling to this movie, and I just always asked like, oh, what movie was this? And then I always knew, but then it wasn't up until just up until a certain point. It was just always in my head, but I didn't know exactly the movie it was. Then I watched it, and I just fell in love once again. Many times, like every time I watch this movie, I fall in love with it more and more. Honestly, I think it's a comfort movie for me because of the fact that I watched it when I was young, maybe, and I had flashes of it in and out. So yeah, I'm claiming this as my comfort movie. This is like, if someone had to flex what their favorite movie was, or any way I could flex this at all, I'd pull this out so hard. Today's movie is Martin Brest's 1998 film with Anthony Hopkins, Claire Forlani, and Brad Pitt. I bring into your hands, Meet Joe Black. Alright, so this movie starts off strong with just like an existential moment, I'm gonna call it, with just him waking up and like hearing a voice just saying yes, yes. Like he just doesn't know what's going on, Anthony Hopkins. I wasn't really gonna talk about the intro. I'm really gonna talk about just like the main, I guess, like, I don't know. It's all important points, I guess, but like, I'm not gonna get too much into all of it, but I still am. But the part that I just like love at the beginning of this movie is the talk he has with his daughter in the helicopter when they're going into the city. And I'm not gonna lie, I am such a hopeless romantic when it comes to these things. Like, I love all these kinds of movies. Say what you will. It pulls on the heartstrings. He's talking with her and he's just like, do you love this man? Like, not that he doesn't see what she sees, but just that he doesn't see what he says an ounce of a thrill. There's not a whisper of excitement. He wants her to, like, this is really what I take into my life too as well, is just being deliriously happy. Finding someone like that you can be with, who you would choose every day. Someone you would choose every day, no matter what. And there is a bit of a whisper of excitement. There is some type of thrill and passion in there. Something that just naturally just happens. Another thing that he just kind of like touches on is, from what I'm taking from it, is that I literally have the remote in my hand. Fall in love with falling in love. Even if it's multiple times, like, that's life. Being deliriously happy, like, because then he says, like, again, like, if you haven't tried, you haven't lived, which I think is very true. Especially the falling in love with falling in love part. That's like such a, because if you leave yourself closed off, if you leave yourself at times not in someone else's hands, how do you expect to get to that person? And something else that I heard is that, like, there's an example here, but a guy asks every girl out that has some kind of interest, or that he has some kind of interest in. Even if he knows she's gonna say no, or even if he knows she's gonna say yes, and it might end or something, I don't know. He still believes in love after that, because after each one of those is just one more closer he is to finding that life person. Someone he can be deliriously happy with. And this is a different video that I saw, but that's just something that I definitely carry with myself, that I've like tried to take into consideration, and at least apply. Because there's only misery. There's only misery in I think not doing that, because then you're just spreading that, like, I guess some type of disease with these other people if you're not leaving yourself open, or not, even if you might get hurt, even if it does take a little bit, if they're still there, like, at least you're trying. Yeah, major touching point there. But there's gonna be a lot of this throughout the video, because this is just such a insanely good movie. And yeah, once again, very strong scene up next. Oh my gosh. When you think about the world that they're in too, how convenient is it that she's having this talk with her father. In the next scene, she goes to the coffee shop and she runs into this man, Brad Pitt, Claire Forlani, and he's like on the phone with his kid sister, and he explains to her like, oh, she's like, I heard you on the phone, da-da-da-da, whatever. But he explains to her like, that's just the way it is with men and women, isn't it? Nothing lasts. And again, convenient, after the conversation she just had with her father, he explains, yeah, like her boyfriend didn't know what he wanted, da-da-da-da, and he's fooling around, and she catches him at it. Like one girlfriend isn't enough for him. I'm saying this like word for word, by the way, like I know this movie. But then she's like, so you're a one-girl guy? He's like, yes, I am. Looking for her right now, actually. You might be her. But, which is another thing that I noticed too, is that, one, you can be totally fine. Let's say Claire Forlani's character and her boyfriend, let's say they're totally fine. Let's say they're healthy. He's just a business guy. He knows what he wants too. It's a perfect, almost perfect relationship to where there's no problems. He loves her, all this stuff. You could feel that. Yeah, remember that. And then a different situation where you're with your boyfriend and he's fooling around on you, all that. Two very different situations, but both could still end. Both will end. Two. Not for certain, but like, if that's the way life goes for you, or if that's how it's supposed to be, then it will end. And just two polar opposites of like a relationship could end. That's just something that people have to accept. And honestly, I've felt that before too. Like just having that polar opposite thing happen to you is just such a weird feeling. Not weird, but just like it makes you think. It makes you like step back and like look at everything. It makes you step back and look at everything from a different point of view. Especially after watching this movie, and maybe even doing this now, I'll get an even deeper point of view with all of it because of how I'm thinking. Yeah, like 1 minute it could be totally healthy, the next, no, it's over. Or even just 1 minute you're madly in love with this person, doing what you think is like right, or what you even know is right, and then the next, like, you're being cheated on. And you still have to, I believe, you still have to prevail. You still have to fall in love with being in love, even if it could end badly, or not how you thought it would. But just that thrill of being like, maybe, wow, like, this could be that person, you know, so, yeah, because, like, and that's another thing, too, is the whole, like, I do not understand the people who date around, who, like, oh, yeah, I have a date with so-and-so, and then I have this next, and then I have that next, oh, and then I have this one next week, or what. I do not get that at all. I'm not gonna lie, I totally felt Brad Pitt when he told her, yeah, I'm a one-girl guy. Like, cause what other time do you have, especially if you're doing something that you like doing, not in that way, but like work or just something you're passionate about, like, how do you have time for anything else besides what you're doing and who you're with and like who you make time for? So, I don't know. That's all just like such a here and there battle with anyone and everyone, honestly, like, because you never know what anyone's going through. You never know what's really going on unless they tell you. So, like, I don't know. Let's get through the movie. That's just, again, this is what I'm taking from, what I'm viewing from everything. So, yeah. Now, the next small scene that I'm gonna talk about real fast is just, they're like both pouring like their coffee and like, because he asked her to buy another cup of coffee. And she agrees, and she's like, they both get their, he pours his cup, he pours hers, and then they both reach for the sugar, and then they both reach for this the creamer, and then they both reach for the spoon, and they go to the stir, and then he's just like, but something as little as that, what I take from that is, imagine being so in sync with someone that like you feel what they feel, you do what they do, same time, just all by chance, or like you do things at a certain amount of time. Just that in general, like even like spread out throughout your lives. Just like imagine being so in sync with someone like that. That's insane. Like imagine you're having a type of day, and then they're also having that type of day, but you don't know that because you're not with them, you're not talking to them. But like, that's just so crazy to me. Like, people tied together like that, and that, like, just literally woven together in that sort of way, just like screams at me. So yeah, again, hope is romantic here. That's just me. I love these movies. I don't care. They're good movies. Like, especially this one, Meet Joe Black. Watch it. It's so good. And like, ladies, guys, if you wanna, if you know your partner or whatever hasn't seen this before, go watch it with them. Like, oh, I just got this movie. Like, I don't know. Definitely a movie to be like, I don't know. Maybe let it fall into your lap too. Just have it on your mind. I don't know. Let it fall into your lap, because you never know. But yeah, that's all for now. Another thing that I'm getting into is, because what her dad told her that morning too is like, leave yourself open to like options, because you never know, lightning could strike. And later that day, like, she meets Brad Pitt's character. They talk and they're leaving, and he's just like, because they talk about giving up everything you have for someone you love. And he's like, you know, yeah, I would. You wanna know why? Because you make your choices. And what he says is like, let's say if you and I were married, for example, I'd want to give you everything you need. That's all. Like, taking care of each other. What's wrong with taking care of a woman? She takes care of you. Yeah, definitely that, for sure. That standard, that. I feel like, honestly, I don't know. I don't know how I mean by this, but I feel like we get lost in the phrase, the bare minimum. Because people bring that out for everything, I feel like, but also nothing. Like, they don't recognize it, but they also use it too much. So there's never like a healthy, not healthy, but like there's never an even like, oh yeah, that's what it is. Maybe that's just my take from the movie. That's what I'm seeing. I just need to see something else for it to be like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. But I side with Brad Pitt's character on that. Giving up everything you want, not want, but like just giving up everything for someone you love, for sure. Like, because you never know. But yeah, oh yeah, and then like they're leaving, and then she's like, you're gonna have a hard time finding a woman like that. Well, like what he says as they're leaving, and then he specifically says, lightning could strike. And she gives him this look like whoa, oh, you know, so